flipping pages since I could remember. That told me I had to.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Today's Style Squad shout out goes to Blase What's Her Face, and if you want to be considered for the Style Squad, make sure that you're the first one to comment on today's video. In today's video, we're going to be doing a dip tutorial, so I'm just going to walk you through the process and how I prep my dip nails, and this is featuring the Jazzyz Stylez Dip and Acrylic system. So first I'm using the dehydrator, and as long as you do file your nails properly, you actually don't have to use the dehydrator and primer, but I do, only because I'm going to be doing a clear base so that I can continue just filing off the color and adding new colors for these videos. First, I'm going to add the base and top coat, and I'm just adding it to the center. I'm starting about probably 3/4 of the way down and only in the center, not the side and not towards the cuticle. And I'm going to do this on all the nails, and I was just pointing out how it is just in the center. This jar of clear powder that I have is large enough for all 4 nails, so the initial dip that I'm doing is going to be all 4 at the same time, but after this I'm doing 1 at a time. So as you see here, it is not on the sidewalls, nor is it all the way to the cuticles. That's what I'm doing on this one. Because this is just an overlay, you don't have to build an apex per se, but you don't want it to be completely flat either. I like my nails to have some sort of shape to them. So now we're adding the base and top coat to the sidewalls and all the way up to the cuticles. And then we're going to dip it back into the clear. Now with dip, because of the base and top coat that is used, you don't necessarily have to use a clear coat. This is necessary if you do want to file down and use different colors, but if you do want to keep it on long term, then it's not necessary. And it's also not necessary for strength, as when using acrylics, you don't necessarily need a strength layer because the strength comes from the base and top coat and not from the actual acrylic. So I'm doing my nails the same as I did on my right hand, which means for the purpose of this video, I'll be using my non-dominant hand to dip my dominant hand. And this way you can see how easy it is because I'm using my opposite hand that I normally use. You'll see how easy everything is. So I'm now dipping my color. I'm using a glitter base for 2 of my fingers, and the rest are going to be a solid base. And these are 2 new dip powders that I have coming out. I'll have the names of them down below in the description box. I don't want to have them out too soon, so I'll add them to the description box once everything comes out. But this is a preview of 2 of the colors that I do have. One is a light mauve-y purple-ish pink with glitter, and the other is a nice soft pink. And as you see, I'm adding the base and top coat to the full nail, not just a portion of the nail, because we're adding the color to the full nail. If you do make any errors or get it off, it's important that you wipe it off almost immediately. The base and top is essentially a resin, so it dries like super glue, and so it's a pain in the butt to get it off once it dries. You can also use the orange wood stick or cuticle stick that I put in all my packages to clean around the cuticle area to make sure that it doesn't like bulk up or get under the cuticle. As you see, I'm just using my finger, but it may be easier for you to use the orange wood stick. And we're doing 2 coats on each finger of the color layer. Now, if you do want it the way that it is, you can definitely do 1 coat. But I like doing 2 because I do a lot of filing and I don't want to file off any of the color. So I do 2 coats of the color layer, and then I'm going to do a clear over it. Now, that's not necessary really, especially if you're doing 2 layers of color. You can definitely file that, but because I did use a glitter color, I just wanted them all to be even, so I did do clear over all 5 nails. So now, as I mentioned, I'm coming back in with the clear and with our top and base coat, and I'm putting a clear layer over the entire nail, and I will be doing this for all 5 nails. Once I have all of the layers on my nails, I'm coming in with the Jazzyz Stylez Activator. After I wipe off all the extra powder, I'm going to come in and make sure that there's an even layer of activator on all the nails. I also come in and do it on the free edge as well to make sure that it soaks up everywhere. As you see, it does turn a slightly different color once you have the activator on, so you know where the activator has been placed. And once that's done, you just want to let it dry for a few minutes. Now that we've allowed the activator to dry, we're coming in with our hand file, and we're using the rough end here, and these kits all do come with a nail file that you'll find in your kit. So this is a 100-180 grit file, and we're going to flip it over and use the rough end here, and we're going to shape it and file the top even. Once we use the rough end, we're going to flip it around and use the finer grit file to just make sure that everything is smooth. And if you have a buffer block, this is also when you can take the buffer and just refine the smoothness. So as you see, I'm around the free edge, the cuticle area, and the top of the nail, just to make sure that everything is smooth and exactly how I want it to be. I use my thumb just to feel the nail and make sure that everything is even and I don't feel any scratches. And then once I'm done filing, I come back in with the activator and put it back on as well, because we just filed off the layer with the activator on it. Now, for the sake of this video and time, I'm using my electric file on, I believe, 4 or 5, really low. And just going to complete the filing process here. This shows that you can use either a hand file or an electric file when doing dip powder. Just make sure that you are using the electric file on low speed if you are using it, because it will file off the entire activation layer, and therefore it will also file off layers of your color. So we don't want that to happen. Make sure that you're at between 3,000 and 4,000 RPMs on your electric file, or just stick to your hand file. You definitely can. It's really easy to do. And yeah, so I'm going to complete this, and then we're going to put the activator back on all the fingers. So I'll let you watch the video, and I'll be back to you once we are done with the electric file and are to the point of adding the activator to the nails again.
So reach for the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
So now that we're done with the electric file, I'm just coming in with my manual file, and I'm just going to file the free edge and make sure that everything is straight and that my corners are rounded. This just kind of refines it so that it looks more natural and more polish-like. I just want it thinner, but I don't want to file off all of the activator. Now I'm coming in to brush all the dust away and going to add a layer of activator to all of the nails. When you add the second layer of activator like I'm doing now, it dries much faster, so you don't really have to wait any time after adding the activator to do the next step. But what I do after this is I come in with my buffing block and I just buff the top of the nails because I know that nothing is going to peel and everything is secure. And then once I'm done buffing, I'm going to come back in with my base and top coat. And this is what's going to make it shiny. As you see, I'm just tapping it, making sure that it is solid. And our base and top coat can now be applied. And we're going to apply this like we would any top coat. And this is going to give us our last layer of strength, but it's also going to give us our glossy shine. Now, at this point, you don't necessarily have to add this as the top coat. If you have a regular clear top coat that you want to use, or if you have a gel top coat that you want to use, you can definitely use that as well. This is just an alternative, or the method which is included in your kit.
Into the great unknown.
And now that that is done, you see the final results. It looks super professional and super shiny. The colors are even, and you look like you just walked out of the salon for half the cost of a salon visit. So if you want to see any of my colors, I'll link my Etsy shop down below along with my Instagram and Facebook page. You can reach me anyway in order to order either one of my kits, one of my colors, my press-ons, or anything of that nature. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Thanks again for watching, and see y'all later.